All right, we have a small portion, but still a vocal portion of the fan base that pretty much has said from the get go, it's Connor Bedard or bust. You don't get Connor Bedard. This whole season was a failure, yada, yada, yada. So just assure us and assure that, not us, we know that no matter where they pick, even if it's as low as 5, the Blackhawks are drafting not only their top prospect in the pool immediately, but a foundational player. And with all the extra picks, not landing Connor Bedard does not derail this rebuild at all.
It doesn't derail the rebuild. I think it definitely, especially since we've got another year coming up in 2024 where we don't have a Connor Bedard, but we have a Macklin Celebrini. So be bad next year too, and you've got a chance to land a guy that would be that cornerstone player. I do think that the range that they would be picking in this draft, there is the potential to draft a foundational building block piece for your franchise. I think it more so than there was last year, and so obviously you come away with 3 first-round picks. You feel like you've got some good forward-looking picks there, guys that have upside, but you're going to have to be waiting for a little bit on. This year, if you get a Fantilli, if you get a Carlson, if you get a Mitchkov, if you get even a Will Smith, a Ryan Leonard, those are guys that you feel like, yes, that's going to be our number one prospect. That's the guy that we're going to be able to build ourselves around. That's the guy that becomes the new centerpiece. And so that's a good place to be. It's a better place than we're starting from. Connor Bedard is the shortcut. Basically, that's what he amounts to. He is the quickest route to competitiveness. You look at the years. If you get a Sidney Crosby, Edmonton is finding it still takes time. Even if you get 2 of the best players
Yeah.
ever to play the game, it can take a long time. It just goes to show you that even if you get that best player, if you put all your stock into that and you get that best player, nothing is guaranteed, and you have to continue to build around that player consciously. Hockey, among all of the sports out there, it is so important to have more of everything. We just watched the Colorado Avalanche, who won the Stanley Cup last year, look way too top heavy in a first round series. They only got production from a handful of players. You cannot win like that. So what I would say is if you don't get, Connor Bedard is the guy who just makes everything a little bit easier because he's that good. But he's not the only thing that you can't hang your hat on just having that player. So I think the Blackhawks, perhaps more than any other team kind of around them, not Columbus, not Anaheim, they're the one that has the most growth or the most work to do ahead of them, I think. And that is where they're supposed to be at this point. They've kind of gotten to the studs down rebuild. They started it last year. It's kind of been in progress loosely for the last few years, but now the Kane and Taves era is officially over. It's start over time. And so that's kind of, you hope you can find a shortcut, but I think it's going to be very difficult to, there's still more pain ahead. You got to prepare for that. If you don't get Bedard this year, maybe you get a chance to get a top pick next year. There's a really good group at the top 4 or 5 picks next year, but it's just not Connor Bedard.